So I'm Anna Wu. I'm a professor in the Department of Molecular and Medical Pharmacology at the David Geffen School of Medicine at UCLA. I'm also the co-founder of Imaginab Incorporated, which is a company that was founded out of technology that my laboratory developed. I think the industry has a really bright future because of the need to have very targeted therapeutics, and I've always been enamored with antibodies. As a class, antibodies give us the specificities that we're going to need in order to be able to do truly targeted therapeutics. I think the most interesting and challenging work is being done in immunotherapy. Cancer is it's not just one disease, it's a constantly evolving target. And I think, one of the most challenging aspects of trying to treat cancer is the heterogeneity that develops. And in the end, I think only our immune systems have the ability to adapt and cope with whatever cancer can throw at it. I think there's been such progress in the field of immunotherapy that once we work out the details and figure out how to engage patients' immune systems, that's ultimately going to provide the final answers that we need. The work that we do is based on using antibodies not just as therapeutics, but also to use them as diagnostics, but to take them beyond diagnostics in the laboratory and rather use them as targeted imaging agents in patients. And I think this is going to help address some of the challenges of dealing with cancer, in particular the heterogeneity, not just of tumors themselves and lesions within a patient, but then also the heterogeneity of the responses that we see, either to conventional therapies or antibody drug conjugates, or equally important to immunotherapies. So we're going to be able to need tools to monitor these processes, throughout the entire body. And I think that ultimately these types of diagnostics are what we're going to need to be able to develop drugs effectively, and importantly, be able to use them in the right ways in the right patients. I think the biggest challenge is that the more we learn, the more complex we understand the systems are. So we have a huge influx of data from genomics programs, proteomics, deep sequencing, et cetera. And somehow we've got to sort out which aspects of those data are important and useful, and then put the knowledge to work. And so I think the biggest gaps are between the very basic and huge amounts of data that are coming out, but somehow we've got to be able to capture the important information and use it to develop effective therapies. I think diagnostics are the big challenge for antibody therapeutics as well as other targeted therapies. I think diagnostics are often treated as the poor cousin, and yet if we really want to get to precision medicine, we have to have these diagnostics. So we've got to find better ways of developing them and bringing them forward hand in hand with the therapeutics. Otherwise, we're going to be treating a lot of patients unnecessarily, and we're going to be missing patients that we could help. So I think that gap between the diagnostics and the therapeutics needs to be addressed and closed.